Hello again. Welcome back to March's Planning Mess. As per normal, I made a whole lovely video and cut it off by accidentally hitting the power button because I'm too lazy to go upstairs and clean up my desk area to use my little stand for videoing. So we're just gonna start over, and I guess all my rambling, maybe I can make this more concise. Okay, so for those of you that follow my channel, you've seen that I was having a bit of a crisis with my N2 vertical planner, which I love the size and shape and weight and all of the things about it. But because I was away for a couple weeks because I was sick and on a break and things piled up in there, it made it a struggle for me to get back into it. I was just having some anxiety. And just kind of feeling like maybe I have the itch, I want a different planner. I was going through that phase. So to save myself the expense of going out and buying a whole new planner, because that was what I wanted to do, that was the way to solve this problem, I pulled this out of my stash because I'd started the year off in here, 2 months worth of using this as a worship planner and realizing that an A6 is just way too small for the amount I want to write from Bible study or sermon notes or etc. And so I'd put this aside, and because I'd used January and February, but not March, and it was now about to be April, I decided I could sacrifice the daily pages of this Hobonichi Techo, which only has monthly and daily pages available, and turn all of those daily pages in March into weekly vertical spreads, which is what I did. You can see here, I bought these from Sterling Ink, these stickers, and it pretty seamlessly has made it work for me. And so I did that. That section did all the way till June. And since this is the AVEC, which is 2 books, January to June, and then the second book is July to December, I was able to get what I needed until the end of June. So I see this sitting on my nightstand. I'm like, I want to use it. And so I pulled it out the beginning of this week and said, I'm going to switch back. A week was enough. But in the process of filling out my monthly and weekly pages and getting back here to the to-do list section, which, I mean, I love how this looks. It's so cute, but I need more space. And having a week in this where I had a full daily A6 page to write out my thoughts and it could be messy and who cared, that suddenly became very important to me again. So I thought, okay, how do I make this work? So I committed to using this one for this week and left this blank. This was set up, and because at first I thought, well, maybe it's the fact that I'm using a lot of sticky notes and things are getting moved around and it's piling up. Maybe I just need a dedicated space, but this space is not nearly as big as a whole page in here. So I decided that I really wanted to have a page per day, or at least a half page per day. And there was no way. I've used 20 pages of these extra pages in the back, and I have 113 total. So I've got 93 blank pages. That's not going to get me through basically 3/4 of the year. It won't even get me through half a year, because half of 365 is going to be about 185. And because the second half of the year is slightly longer than the first half. So because I only have 93 and I need 185, I definitely can't start using this again until I get to July. That's just, it is what it is. And since this is set up and this works, the size works, it's just as portable, it's just as convenient. I unfortunately cannot, I looked at buying just the plain Sterling Ink N2 notebook to give myself more pages. The problem is, it's not like I can use up these blank pages and then just move into that book. I'm still tied to this book, so I'd have to carry them both around because this has all of my monthly and weekly pages in it. And that didn't sound super attractive to me. So I think, knowing the fact that, number one, we can pull all the Saturdays out because I don't usually plan on Saturdays, and we can pull out all the times I have vacations, I might be able to squeak by with a page per day in here. And I also might give myself just half a page a day and see if that's enough. So Bottom line, I'm going to let this sit until July if I can stand it. And I'm going to finish up this book because it's working quite well. This gives me a view of what my week is like. Let's see if we can find this week. These are the things I'm committed to doing this week. And then we can go to my daily pages. And like this day, this is today. I don't have a ton of things to do, but I had more things to do here and I needed all that space and to get it out of my brain. It was also nice. Like here was a shopping list I made and stuck in there. This isn't pretty. Like I was making that and it's okay. I don't know that my brain can handle doing pretty. I've also got my Post-it system and it's not so overwhelming because they're not all on top of each other like they were in this small space. So this is where I'm at. I'm trying to use what I have, not buy other things. I'm toying with some ideas about next year. What am I going to do next year? I have several options. I have, I'm toying with the idea of getting the B6, the Sterling Ink B6 that's in 2 books, so 6-month books. That's an idea. I'm toying with going all traveler's notebook and having everything be that size so that I can throw them into a traveler's notebook cover and take them with me thick and chunky, or just take a small one here and there. That's an option. I've got lots of ideas, and this has been good for me. Even though I've gone through several books and done several things this year, I've tried out different sizes in different ways so I can kind of get an idea of what feels good to carry around in my bag with me, what's too thick, what's too thin. I'm answering a lot of those questions with this. And I also have another backup plan for this should I still not have enough pages. I had bought a traveler's notebook size cover and it came with some thin notebooks that are designed for that system because it usually has a place for like 4 notebooks. And so I do have some of those. They have a thin cardboard cover. They would be easy to trim down to fit into here. And it would add some bulk, but not as much bulk as buying another book this thick and suddenly having it this big. I do know I like the compact size of planner, and I don't want a full year thick size. I bought that for my worship planner to replace this, and it's a little chunky. And I made the decision to do that because I love that mulberry color, and they just don't make it in the thin one. But that's okay. It goes in my Bible cover. It doesn't have to go in my purse with me everywhere. But anyway, I'm learning about myself, and I'm learning to what works for me. And so as always, it's a journey. So Marta's planning mess. That is the mess that is my need. The changefulness of my needs as it goes along in these planners. So thank you, Hobonichi and Sterling Ink and Paper Test Designs and Wonderland 222. And there's several other brands out there that I haven't even tried. Don't get me started, but thank you to all of you that have designed these planners that are not super structured, but they have these lovely grids that you can just divide up the space as you need it. Every day it can change. Every week it can change. Whatever you need to do, the flexibility to do it is there. And the only thing that's holding me back on this one is the fact that I just don't think I can fit everything I need to write down in the back of this. And I don't want to double up with a big, thick book. So if I can make myself leave this alone, which I love it so much, I will, and I'll come back to it in July. That's my plan. We'll see if I stick to it. If you've watched along this far, I hope I haven't confused you or bored you to death. And I hope that if you're somebody that struggles to find what works for you, that this has been helpful. I'm going through this time trying to use what I have and not just go out and buy something different, which is usually what my impulse is. I don't struggle with a lot of anxiety, but I get little bits of it, and it tends to be like, I don't realize that it's anxiety. I just realize that it's like a restlessness, and I want to do something to fix it. And so I tend to buy things. So I don't need to spend a ton of money on planners. These are pricey, and I can make use of what I have for now. And I've learned what works for me. So as you're going on this planning journey, like, try a bunch of different sizes and styles and figure out what works for you. I'm keeping a list actually in here. This is the little free book that came when I ordered my Hobonichis. Just ideas. What am I going to do for next year, for my journaling, for all the things that I like to do to make it work for me? So there's ways that you can figure these things out. And thank you to those who have designed the awesome daily labels that you can put inside things and make your blank pages work well. Because as much as I love Hobonichi, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to have to start at the top for every day. And so the ones that are blank in the back give you the ability to be flexible and make one day this big and the next day a page and a half, or however you need to do it. So that's where I'm at. I'm feeling a little bit better, having kind of explored the options for expanding my N2 system. And I think I confidently do not want to make that much thicker. So I'm not going to go ahead and order a Sterling ink notebook. And I'm going to make use of this Hobonichi and enjoy it. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in.